In fact, in verse 14, you get this unique promise to the saint. And that is, you might very well, by staying in an unequally yoked marriage, be the vessel through whom God reaches the heart of your spouse. In every other place in the scriptures, fellowship with unbelievers results in downfall. The sin has victory. You have fellowship in the world eats you alive. You have fellowship without, those who don't know God, and you become like they do, and you follow their example. But in the marriage, in the home, now you're the influencer. It affects your children. It could very well affect your spouse. Verse 16, if they don't want to hang in there with you, fine. The Lord will say you are free to move on with your life. But you should be everything you possibly can be so that they might stay in here, because who knows if you are not going to be the one through whom God reaches them. Awesome promise. We're told to not be unequally yoked everywhere in the scriptures, that too much of the world will do nothing but cause us to stumble. But until you get to the believing marriage, the unequally yoked marriage there because someone has gotten saved even after being married, and the answer is you can be the overwhelming influence in the home. Your spiritual life, your walk with God, your commitment to Christ. You'll be the influencer. God recognizes and treats this one believer marriage as holy. How many kids do you suppose have come to Jesus by the example of one parent? They can tell the difference soon enough. Adults can try to act one way and do another, but the kids, they see right through it, don't they? And they tend to go towards those who are walking with God, who have the joy of the Lord and the peace of the Lord. So the argument of their bad influence is not a good one according to the Lord. And if you are in an unequally yoked marriage because you've gotten saved and your husband or wife is not, here's God's advice for you. Now, I've heard people say, well, Pastor, I've been a faithful witness for 5 years now, and there's been no change, and I give up, man. I'm leaving. It hasn't worked for me. I'm miserable. And what they want you to do is say, well, yeah, I can understand that. It's been 5 years. But what I do, instead of what I say is, look, there's no timer clause here. God didn't say it'll happen in 5 years. He just said, stay put. You stay put. If an unbeliever is wanting to hang out with you, you stay put. And then here's what I hear. Oh, so does God want me unhappy all of my life? Because I'm miserable. Now, I usually do this. Of course he does. Because that's pathetic. Of course God doesn't want you unhappy. Your joy should be found in him anyway. But there's a ministry that God has set before you. And if the unbeliever is pleased to stay, I'll tell you what I say to these folks. Leaving this situation will not bring you joy or peace or hope, because you're defying God. And there's never any benefit to defying God. And so what eventually happens is people will say this, well, is he really pleased to dwell with me when he's never home? Or, and I'll say, well, why do you think he's not pleased to dwell with you? And then you begin to talk to her, the woman, for example, if she's saved, and I'll say, do you cook meals for him? No, I don't want to cook for him. Do you clean the house? I don't really care to. I like to hang out at my girlfriend's house, and I'm at church 5 nights a week, and you start to go, well, no wonder the guy doesn't want to hang out with you. I wouldn't want to live with you, and I'm saved. So here's the key for obedience. You that are saved and have unmarried spouses, your marriage before was 2 unmarried people, 2 unmarried folks. That wasn't good. Now one of you is saved, so things should have improved, not gotten worse, right? And I don't know about you, but I would say anybody that marries a Christian ought to be thankful they're married to one. Christians are merciful, they forgive, they love the Lord, they're self-denying, they put others before themselves, they're sacrificial. Who wouldn't want to be married to a Christian? Now what happens is Christians get saved and they have spouses that aren't necessarily so satisfying to them, and so they begin to try to irk them into leaving. They will, honey, can you come to bed early tonight? Nod, nod, wink, wink. Not with you, I can't. 6 weeks of fasting is what I'm involved with right now, And the husband just goes, of course I don't want to stay here, You let yourself go, you look like, you know, and then you come in with your statement of divorce. He doesn't seem pleased to dwell with me. And you scare the children, you know. Look, if your heart is to serve God and to know his will, you can't cheapen the counsel by manipulating the verses to justify your sin. You know, if you're saved, hey, then stay put. Your marriage has gotten better. Jesus is at home in your life. You're going to have great influence.